Solinco Confidential 16L. This is my new go-to string, and here's why it might work for you too. If you're a competitive, aggressive, and strategic hitter, then this string might be something that you really want to check out. Solinco Confidential, it's a relatively new string compared to, let's say, Hyper G. From what I understand, Solinco was developing this prior to launching it around 2020. Apparently they worked with players like Agassi and Sloane Stephens to develop this string, and it's called Confidential because apparently there's a real special formula that goes into this string, and it was confidential, so they call it Confidential, something like that. And as I understand, this was actually developed more for touring professionals rather than being a retail string. Again, that's what I read. I don't know how accurate that is. In terms of what it is, it's a poly string, of course. It's four-sided. It's relatively stiff, and it is targeted more to intermediate to advanced level players. In terms of the cost, you can get a set of this for about £10. You can get a reel of this for around 120, 125 pounds. So it's not the cheapest string. It's also by no means the most expensive. In terms of where this is positioned, particularly in the Solinco lineup, arguably this sits probably between Hyper G and Tour Bite, where Hyper G is more focused on spin, Tour Bite more on control. This one is really about both spin and control. And if I had to say what three qualities does it combine really, really well, that would be control, spin, and feel. I personally would say this is very, very similar to Head Links Tour Champagne, where I find this is slightly different. They both have a really nice connected feel. They're both good spin. They're both very durable. This one, when you swing hard through the ball, is just a little bit more powerful. From my playtest, I've now played with this between 6 to 8 hours. I've played with it hitting with my wife, my daughter. I've played matches with it with friends. I've played in a tournament. I've played in my hitting group. So I put in a good number of hours with this, and what would I say first of all? It just feels right. The control and precision, it just feels like you can hit through the ball as much as you want while still kind of picking a spot you want to go to, and it really does go there. The control and the feel is really, really good. The power, I would imagine if you don't swing hard, you're not going to say this is a powerful string. But anybody who's swinging hard, has got good racket head speed, will know that actually you don't want the string to be too lively, but you want it to give just that right amount of power that when you really swing through and get the head speed, you see it pop off and go, I liked what that gave me. This absolutely does that. And by the way, I've strung this at 50 pounds in a full bed, so it's not like it even has to be strung super low. Spin, I would say, is decent. Hyper G gave more. There are other strings where you will get more spin, but to be honest, this is more than adequate. But if you are looking for a big spin string, this isn't really what this string is about as far as I'm concerned. The one thing I loved about this, which I also got from the Head Links Tour, was that connected feel to the ball. And I don't know whether you call that dwell time or whether it's the feeling of connection. This has it in absolute spades. It just feels like you're holding onto the ball for that little bit longer, even when it's being powered hard at you. It's an absolutely brilliant feeling. Now note, I have actually also tried the 17 gauge. This is the 16L. I found the 17, which is only 0.05 of a millimeter thinner. That lost a bit of that connected feel. It lost a little bit of the control. That said, maybe if you're not swinging quite as hard, you might prefer the 17 gauge to the 16L. Durability, tension maintenance, it's certainly got a degree of notching, but it's very superficial. And I haven't really noticed any sort of sense of this dying or locking up. So the durability for me, I've put in easily 6 to 8 hours, and it's playable, it's fantastic. And I'm only looking for 10 to 12. So this I think is going to give me that for sure. Tension maintenance, I feel, is absolutely fantastic. It's dropped a little bit, but it's not just then losing and going all soft and mushy. What I will say though, and I think a lot of people comment about this, about the 16L in particular, there is a break-in period. About the first hour, hour and a half, it's going to feel stiff. It's not going to get that connection. You're not going to get that precision. Then suddenly it softens up and becomes the string that you can really love, but you do need to break it in. So probably you're not going to want to string it the night before a tournament and then not have a break-in period before you play that tournament. In terms of, again, that gauge comparison, the 16L, I think gives you that precision, the power, the spin, the connected feel. The 17 gauge, you do get more feel. I think you lose a bit of that connected feel and you lose a little bit of control. But some people may say, actually, I'm not getting enough out of the 16L. You're probably going to prefer the 17 gauge. Maybe even 18. So quite simply, 16L for more aggressive players, 17 or maybe 18 for those who want a bit more pop. Who is this for? This is for a player that swings hard, plays aggressively, and values laser-like precision. It is also for someone who wants durability, who wants that to last over a certain period. No poly is going to do that forever, and arguably the performance of this is going to drop off, but I certainly find this adequately playable without noticing a big drop after the amount of hours I've put into this. And I would say I think this is for a player who wants to play a little bit more strategically. If you're a player who's a big server, +1, put it away, or big return, come in and put the next shot away, there's probably other strings that will perform better for you. This is for someone who knows they're getting in. Probably they're going to have to hit 3, 4, 5 shots every single rally on average to win the point. That's where this really comes in, particularly if you're moving it around and want that precision to build a point. So the final verdict for me, the personal conclusion is this just feels like my string. There is no such thing as a perfect string for everybody, but I think you know it sometimes. You find that racket, you find that string, and you say, this feels right. I can't really find any area that I immediately want to have more of. And actually, if I do, I know that I'm going to get that from my technique. So if I had to give one line, Confidential 16L gave me control, precision, that connected feel, durability, and when I wanted it and really swung hard, it gave me the power. So I would love to know anyone else who's tried this. Maybe if you've tried the different gauges, what your setup and what your racket is. Is this the string, or have you also found there's maybe other similar strings across the different brands that play quite similar to Solinco Confidential? Put your thoughts in the comments.